Hello everyone, I am Swagata Mira and today we will be learning a very famous poem, My Mother at 66, which is written by a very famous poetess, Kamala Das. So today we will learn about Kamala Das first, then we will talk about the poem and we will learn about the outer meaning, the inner meaning, the literary devices which are used here, and then we will talk about the critical analysis and the conclusion. So let's start about the poetess. Kamala Das is popularly known as Madhavi, which is her pen name, and she was born in Kerala. She was born on 31st March 1934 and she was died on 31st March 2009. She was a very bold writer. She usually writes about the women issues, politics, child care, individuality, etc. Our current poem is also based on women issues and also individuality of the society. Let's come to the poem. Driving from my parents' home to Cochin last Friday morning, I saw my mother beside me, doors open-mouthed, her face ashen, like that of a corpse, and realized with pain that she was as old as she looked, but soon put that thought away and looked out at young trees sprinting, the merry children smiling out of their homes. But after the airport's security check, standing a few yards away, I looked again at her, one pale as a winter's moon, and felt that old familiar ache, my childhood's fear. But all I said was, "See you soon, Amma." All I did was smile and smile and smile. So, have you found any full stop in between the poem except at the end of the last line? No, you cannot. And this kind of structure is known as enjambment. Now, let's read the poem. Driving from my parents' home to Cochin last Friday morning. So, the poetess was driving her car when? On the last Friday. From where? From her parents' home. To where? To Cochin. I saw my mother beside me. So, while driving the car, she saw her mother beside her. So, her mother was also on the front row, on the front seat, doors open-mouthed. So, her mother was sleepy and her mother's mouth was opened. Just like it happens to some people that whenever they sleep, their mouth become opened. Her face ashen. Her face has no glow, like that of a corpse. Corpse means a dead body. So, her mother's face had no glow, just like a dead body. So, her mother's face was looking like a dead body. And realized with pain that she was as old as she looked. So, suddenly the poetess realized. What did she realize? That her mother is very much old, just like she looks. And why the poetess is writing the word realize? Because no one really wants to realize this fact and no one really wants to think about the fact that their parents are growing older. And suddenly, it usually happens to some people that they realize by some incident that their parents are growing older. And that's why the poetess Kamala Das is using the word realize. But soon put that thought away. As soon as she realized that true, bitter fact that her mother is growing older, she put that thought away. That means she wanted to distract herself from that bad thought and looked out at young trees sprinting. So she is now looking out at the other side. She is looking out at the environment. And what did she look? She was looking at the trees were in motion. Just like we also realize the same thing whenever we go by a car to anywhere, what do we feel? We feel that just like the trees are in a motion, the trees are also going to somewhere as much as we are going to somewhere. The merry children smiling out of their homes. The happy, the joyful children are coming out of their homes. But after the airport's security check, standing a few yards away. So, she was watching all those things and she had already arrived to the airport. and she had already done the airport checking, and now she is in the airport. Now she is standing a few yards away from her mother. I looked again at her. So now she is standing in the airport and she is looking at her mother. Why? She was alone, who was about to fly. Her mother was about to stay there. So she is looking at her mother, just like we all do whenever it's the time to departure. We all want to see the loved faces whom we really love, right? So she was doing the same thing. She was looking at her mother. One and pale, both are similar. One means pale and pale means one. So why the poetess is using the synonyms of pale twice? Because she wants to make the reader understand about the certain stage, about the certain condition of her mother. As a late winter's moon, we all know that in the winter season, the moon's brightness is not that much bright the way it shines in the summer or in the winter season. And here she is saying that late winters. Why? Because she wants to make it very much clear to the readers that her mother's face has no glow. She was very dull, she was very pale, she was very young, and felt that old familiar ache. So she was again feeling the same thing with which she was very much familiar. She was very much familiar to the particular pain of losing her mother, of her mother's decay. My childhood's fear. So it was also her childhood's fear. She wanted to be separated from her mother, and she had already thought about all those things in her childhood, and since that childhood she has that fear in her. But all I said was, see you soon, Amma. So she wanted to say all those things. She wanted to say a lot of things, but she could not. What did she say? She said, see you soon, Amma. And why Amma? Because that is how she used to address to her mother, Amma, as she was from Kerala. All I did was smile and smile and smile. And after that, she did just one thing. What? Smile. She only smiled because she was in the airport. She could not say. And one more thing, we all the human beings, they really want to hide their emotions from their mother. No one really, from their parents, no one really wants to say that they are missing them, or they don't just want to be separated from their parents. So she was also doing the same. She was also hiding her emotion. Also, she was not able to talk with her mother as she has already done the security check. So that was all about the poem. Now let's talk about the literary devices which are used here. What are literary devices? Literary devices are some specific techniques which are used by the writers to enhance their writing skill, their writing technique, and to engage the readers emotionally. We have find simile, repetitions, personifications in this particular poem. Now what is simile? Simile is a direct comparison between two things. Just like she is as beautiful as a flower, we can see a direct comparison. Sometimes we say that she shines like a star. Also we can find here a direct comparison. And whenever we find the word like as much as, so this kind of phrases, whenever these kind of phrases are used, we can say that simile is being used here. In the present poem, we can also find the simile where we can find in the line as a late winter's moon. So here the poetess mother's face is also compared to a late winter's moon. So you can find simile here. Now repetition. What is repetition? Whenever we find a repetition of words or phrases or stanzas, we can say that the literary devices repetition is used. We can find the repetition of the word smile in the last line. Now we can find personification is also used in the poem. What is personification? Where inanimate objects are given human qualities, then we can say that the personification is used. Where we can see that in the phrase young trees sprinting. Here the trees are given the quality of a human, that is young. So here also the personification is used. So what is the theme of the poem? The poem basically captures the fear of the narrator who is about to lose her mother because of her mother's declining health and the old age. This also talks about a daughter's pain who is witnessing her mother's aging and impending death. The poem also talks about women issues. How? As the women are being sent to their in-laws' house after getting married, they are not allowed to stay with her parents. But everyone wants to stay with their parents, especially when their parents are getting older. So this is also a women's problem in our patriarchal society, especially in India. We can find it. So in that way, the poetess Kamala Das is talking about the reality of the society and women issues, and also she is also talking about the reality of our life, which is between the birth and the death. That's for all today's session. Thank you for watching my video.